Hello and welcome to my kitchen at home. Now I have shared many of my recipes for variety of caramelly goodness because I basically think that caramel is like one of the best things that's ever been invented. And today we're going to step it up a gear. I've got a really great recipe for a really easy treat. It's chocolate caramels, salted chocolate caramels, and they're so delicious. Now first of all, let's talk about the chocolate that you're going to use. I prefer to use a couverture chocolate. That is a chocolate which has a little bit more cocoa butter and a little bit less cocoa solids in it. I prefer to use a dark couverture chocolate which has usually about 53–54% cocoa solids in it, and that just makes for a smoother flavour. If you can't find that, because it is quite a specialist chocolate, you can use 70% dark chocolate, which is readily available in most supermarkets, and it will just have a slightly bitterer, darker, deeper flavour, which is definitely okay too, but you might find it a little bit intense. I wouldn't use milk chocolate just because that's already super sweet, and we're making caramel, which is already very sweet as it is. So the first thing we're going to do is make a chocolate ganache, and I have 225 grams of double cream, and I'm going to bring that to the boil. Okay, that's come to the boil, and I've got 120 grams of my chocolate here, and I'm going to pour the cream on top of that. So just let that sit for 2 or 3 minutes just to warm the chocolate through, and then give it a stir. And once you've stirred it until it's nice and smooth and the chocolate is really well combined with the cream, you can leave that to one side just to chill out while you get on with the next bit. Now the first thing to do when you're making the caramels is to prepare your tin, and I've got a 7" by 7" square tin here, and I've lined it with tin foil. I've lined it the kind of dull side up rather than the shiny side because that is better at non-sticking. But I've given it a light greasing of just oil, and I've wiped the excess off so it's not really super oily. So that's ready to go when I need it. And to make the caramel, I've got a nice heavy based saucepan here, and into that I've got 120 grams of golden syrup. And with that I'm going to add 260 grams of caster sugar. And that just needs to go over onto the hob onto a medium heat. You just need to heat this until it becomes 155 degrees C, which is why it's very important to have a sugar thermometer handy, because you can't kind of wing this and guesswork it. It needs to be exactly 155. So now I've taken it off the heat, and I'm going to pour my chocolate ganache in and give it a good stir. And once you've stirred it good and proper, and you need to put it back on the heat, grab your thermometer again, and it needs to hit 127 this time, 127 degrees C. So this is bubbling away, it reached 127, so now I'm going to add some butter. So just give that a really good stir until all the butter is melted and all the bubbling has completely subsided. And that's ready, so now I'm just going to pour it into my tin. And just give it a little bang on the worktop just to get rid of any air bubbles. And then once you've done that, you can sprinkle sea salt on top. You don't have to do this, but I quite like the salt and the chocolate together. That looks and smells amazing. Now don't forget that this is incredibly hot, and it will remain incredibly hot for quite some time, so just put that somewhere safe, leave it to cool down completely, and then it'll be time to eat it. So my caramel has completely set. I left it for quite a few hours until it was really firm, and now all I need to do is chop it into bite-sized pieces because I don't think I can handle a piece this big. So I've got a very sharp knife, and I've already cut some pieces of greaseproof paper, and I'm going to wrap them up so I can give them away. This is going to make quite a lot of caramel, so it is very important to share at this point. But also you can try putting these in, say, a blondie for a sort of yummy, chocolatey, caramel, chewy bit. And also don't forget I've got a really great recipe for chewy salted caramel cookies, and you can replace the caramels in those with these guys and they would be absolutely delicious. There's a link to that on the screen now. And also don't forget you can subscribe to my channel by clicking on the link, and if you don't click on the bell then you might be missing something, so make sure you do click on the bell and then you'll get notifications every time I post a video. This is my salted chewy chocolate caramels, and they are delicious. See you next week.